Hello, good afternoon, and Jai Hind student. Today I'm going to begin next chapter, that is chapter number 2, class ninth, and the chapter name is Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. Before beginning the chapter, we just know about the topics what you are going to study in this chapter, and the important topics of the chapter is first half of the chapter is divided within different topics as the chapter name suggests to you all, socialism in Europe. So first half of the chapter deals with the socialism in Europe. So we are going to study the social changes soon after the French Revolution which came up in Europe and how it had affected totally to the whole world. Then the second topic is ideologies of liberals, radicals, and conservatives. You're going to study definitions. You're going to study what kind of form of government was working active after the avoiding of dynastic monarchy soon after the French Revolution. Then we are going to study how these changes, the difference between active and passive citizen affected the industrial society, the laborers who didn't got the right to vote, and because of this they were facing too much of torture. And apart from this, you are going to study different socialist ideologies, the emergence of socialism through the ideologies of Karl Marx, Frederick Engel, Robert Owen, and Louis Blanc. Then to this you'll be completing half of the chapter, and then the next topic, the name of the chapter, the Russian Revolution begins. So in the column of Russian Revolution you're going to study about three major revolution in Russia. After this only it was possible to form a socialist form of government in Russia on a world level. Not a single country having a socialist government except of Russia after 1917. Then we are going to study February Revolution, then October Revolution 1970. And after October Revolution 1917, Russia becomes USSR. But when Russia became USSR, certain promises made by the political leaders and Vladimir Lenin at that moment, who were Bolsheviks, so they were there to accomplish their promises, which resulted in the form of civil war in Russia. Then how the civil war ends up, that you are going to study, and at the end you are going to study the making of socialist society in USSR, how USSR completely become a socialist society, and the role of the Stalin in his collectivization system in Russian socialist society. So you're going to study, we are going to deal with all these topics in this chapter. Now I'm entering in my topic, which today I'm going to teach you all, and the topic is the age of social changes. So the time period between 1789 to 20th century, it was the age of social changes. The first social changes which we have noticed in the form of revolution, that was first French Revolution. So let me tell you one thing, beta, the French Revolution which you all have studied in first chapter, it was the first French Revolution. After this, in your 10th class first chapter, you are going to study about another two French revolutions which will completely change the society system in the Europe. And not only in the Europe, it will change very soon the system in the whole world. So, before 18th century, European society was broadly divided into states and orders. So, like you have studied in the French Revolution, three state system were there: clergy, nobility, dynastic monarchy, autocratic monarchy. Throughout the Europe, not only throughout the Europe, throughout the world, it was present. So it was first French Revolution only which had totally avoided the powers and limited the powers of the monarch. So after the French Revolution, the changes which were not only in the Europe, it included whole world, Europe, Asia, every part of the world. Even the idea of the post-revolutionary Europe and significant of a French Revolution talked in India, in our country also through the ideologies of Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Derozio. So let me tell you one thing, if you have studied in 8th class, Civilizing the Native, Educating the Nation, that chapter, in which you have studied about the emergence of missionary school concept or English education or education for commerce. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy or Derezio kind of socialist reformers got education through these schools, and somehow they also studied about French Revolution, Russian Revolution, all these. So the responses of accepting these changes varied people to people. Means not everyone had accepted these changes. Think about during the French Revolution or before French Revolution, clergy and nobility group. So did you people think that they have accepted these changes? These changes were fruitful for the middle classes, and that too middle classes which were after the French Revolution counted as active citizens, not even passive citizens, those who didn't got the right to vote. So in the 19th century, there was an attempt at a radical transformation of a society. It was a radical transformation. Why? Because people were making the representative form of government, but as soon as they find that government is not fulfilling their demands or dissatisfactory for them, they were there to change or criticize radically their own chosen up government. So, through the Russian Revolution, which emerged a new government idea called as socialism. So, this socialism concept maybe started rising up after 1850, but it was not in the form of any government in country, any country. So, definitely the first form of socialist government which was formed, it was formed in Russia. Now, my next topic for today is liberal, radicals, and conservatives. Now, we are going to study that soon after the French Revolution, liberalism, liberals, which was the outcome of the French Revolution. So, what was the definition of liberals? Then I may have to clear your doubts related to the liberals. Who were the liberals? Who were the radicals? And who were the conservatives? Now, through these topics, we'll be studying about the definition and the ideologies present behind these words. And the first word is liberals. So, the major outcomes of French Revolution was liberalism. Liberalism means, liber means free. Now, the people of the country or France were free to choose their government. And how? What kind of government? By avoiding the autocratic or absolute monarchy, which you have studied in first French Revolution chapter. How people had avoided Louis XVI rule. Not only they avoided, first they compelled him to be under the constitutional monarchy, like a puppet he was working. And secondly, when people were fed up of his policies and negotiations, secret negotiations which he was doing with the Prussia and Austria, so people had given him the execution punishment also. So liberalism tolerated all the religions. Means here we know, nowadays scenario, we know there are so many religions within a country, within a nation. Even in India also we have so many religions. But here liberalism majorly talks about Christianity, the divisions in the Christianity, which means that like whole Europe was divided between Protestant and Catholic Christianity. So Britain and Austria favor the Protestant group. Similarly, Spain, Italy, and France favored the Catholic Christianity. So liberalism did not favored any one Protestant or Catholic group within their system. They were all the religions were equal for them. Liberalism limited the uncontrolled power of the monarch and provided right to vote to the active citizens. So here we can differentiate between liberalism and democracy. You will be thinking by reading all the norms that by providing right to vote, by providing representative form of government, by dividing the powers of the government within the legislature, judiciary and executive, why not we are calling liberalism as a democracy? But there is a difference between democracy and liberalism. Liberalism provided right to vote only to their active citizens, not to all. So liberalism was different from the democracy because democracy provided universal adult franchise, which liberalism did not. Another very important fact about liberalism, liberalism favored the private property system. It did not believe in favoring the poorers or people, those who are deprived of the resources. It was not even counting them as the citizens. They all were kept under the passive citizenship. Now, the next word, which is a very important word to study here, that is radical. Let me tell you one thing about this radical word, which you have heard studied in 8th class also. If you remember one of the question in chapter number 11, history 8th class, it was contrast the difference between radicals and moderate. So this is the word which soon after the French Revolution started rising not only in Europe, even within the world, and it is present today also. Radicals are the people who always criticize the upcoming and existing laws made by the government. So for example, if nowadays in India central government is of BJP, so Congress to other political parties become radical of the BJP's working. So simply, if being as a citizen, I'm favoring few governmental policies, but another hand, if I'm criticizing governmental policies, very at that moment, I become radical of the government. So radical, in contrast of the liberals, wanted UAF for all the citizens by including active and passive citizens. They wanted UAF, that no citizen will be deprived of right to vote or freedom of speech and expression. Radicals supported women's suffragette movement. When I told you they were believing in the UAF, means they wanted to provide women's also a same rights. But unlike the liberals, they opposed the aristocracy, great landowners, and wealthy owners. So, radicals were the people who criticized the governmental policies because they are not getting that suitable rights for themselves. These kind of people are called as radicals. The dislike They dislike the concentration of property within the few hands. Radicals always criticize the government. So you can understand soon after the French Revolution, when liberalism became very predominant ideology, at that moment the people who were deprived of the resources, deprived of the right to vote, deprived of the citizenship within the country, the law and order system of a country did not help them to improve their situation. So these kind of people become the radical within that country. And now coming up to 1850s, this radical group became very powerful in the world scenario. Now, the last term which we'll be discussing of today's, it is about conservatives. Now we understood that after the French Revolution, liberalism became a dominant ideology in which they limited the powers of the monarch. Even some of the countries have totally overruled the monarch's system. So then the question rises in the mind that when we know about liberals and when we know about radicals, then who were conservatives? So let me tell you one thing. After the Battle of Waterloo 1815, when Napoleon Bonaparte got defeated, who was known as the liberator of Europe, may I inform you one thing, that last paragraph, first chapter, French Revolution, you have studied about Napoleon, this policy, that he was known as a liberator of Europe. So liberalism, he was the fan follower of liberalism. He was the savior of French constitution by following the liberal ideologies. So soon after the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte at the Battle of Waterloo 1815, through the Treaty of Vienna, which was signed after the defeat of Battle of Waterloo of liberal followers. So in the Treaty of Vienna, the Napoleon conquered areas were again distributed in the hands of the old monarch, given to the old monarch. So the old monarchs now, after 1815, known as conservatives, because they haven't forgotten about their past. They wanted that people should respect the past, old primitive institutions like clergy, nobility, but they don't want to change the governmental scenario or a constitution, representative form of government, right to vote, because these policies of Napoleon's were very good for the people. So again, they don't want the downfall of their government. So they were, for their people, they were following the new changes which came up after the French Revolution, but internally within their minds they want to give the respect to the past. So these kind of monarchs whom had handled the governmental situation after the Treaty of Vienna in Europe, again they got back their power, like French monarch also got his power back, because Bourbon dynasty, after the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte, restored its power back in France. So even Bourbon dynasty ruler who become the emperor now after the Napoleon, called as conservatives, because he become the emperor but he haven't changed anything in the French constitution. Similarly, like how the Napoleon was ruling, he also started ruling without making much of changes in the governmental system. So these kind of leaders, these kind of emperors, now they were not calling themselves as the emperor, rather than they were called as the conservatives. Their minds were conserved. Okay? Although they wanted to change the system, but they were helpless. So these kind of people were called as conservatives. Conservatives did not want changes in the social orders. Conservative opposed radicals and liberals. After the French Revolution, conservatives who believed in the old institutions of the society, clergy, nobility, they had opened their minds the need for the change. Means mind was there to accept it, that we have to accept the changes, we are compelled to accept the changes, but internally they believed that the past had to be respected. Conservative believed that the changes in the society would come through the slow process. So conservatives were the old monarch of Europe who got back their power after the Napoleon Bonaparte's defeat at the Battle of Waterloo. Now they become monarch, but not calling themselves as the monarch. These kind of monarchs called as conservatives. Conclusion. What we have studied within these two pages, hence, with the ideologies of liberal, conservative and radicals, common people were not getting any solution of their problem. Like the chapter introduces you a new ideology of socialism. So very soon, we always use one word, that we cannot eat for a lifetime 3 times in a day dal chawal. So we need some sorts of lunch, different lunch, we need some sort of different dinner, and we need some sort of different breakfast. We need, along with dal chawal, sandwiches, pav bhaji, pizza and pasta. So similarly, as a conclusion, people who get bored due to the liberal, conservative and radical ideologies till 1850, because the common people and radicals, they were not getting any solution for their problem. Their problems were still there, only the form of government got changed from liberalism to conservatives, from conservatism to liberalism, but their problems were still remained there. They were still called as passive citizen. They did not got still voting rights. Women's did not got freedom, and passive citizens did not got freedom of speech and expression. So these kind of common people now wanted to change the system of liberalism and conservatism with the help of radicals. The change brought through the French Revolution, and after the Battle of Waterloo, the conservatism helped to define limits and potential of these political tendencies. Means coming up to 1850, people, common people were aware of these two governmental systems, and they were alarmed that these people will not change the society for further more years. So slowly, with the help of the philosophers, socialists like Karl Marx, Robert Owen, Louis Blanc, the whole total scenario of the Europe, not only Europe, even not only Europe, even the whole world got changed, and whole world common people who were not getting facilities to prove themselves as the citizen of that country wanted to change the system, and from 1850, from there only socialism ideology begins up. That's all for today. Thank you and Jai Hind.